They say if you want to make God laugh, make a plan. So here we go. So, following the showcase season that happened earlier this month, most games for the rest of 2026 have been dated. So, I thought it would be a fun video to sort of outline the games that have piqued my interest and sort of set up a bit of a game plan for the rest of the year. Now, I'm more than aware that the likelihood I play all of these games is probably going to be very small because time is precious and there's always the chance of an indie game or something else that is yet to be dated get released, and then therefore plans go awry. But I want to play games over the next 6 months with two goals in mind, and that is hopefully playing as many great games as possible to fill out a top 10 best of 2026 list. There's been a number of fantastic games already out this year, but I would love this list to be as strong as possible. And the other is to hopefully bolster my top 25 Nintendo Switch 2 games list. You can already see my list as of about a month ago on the channel. Go check that out. But the hope is that we can get a more solid list and hopefully some of the lower ones on that list off, because that would mean that there are more great games to play that have come to the system over the next 6 months. So I'd like to start with my plan for June. I know we're basically at the end of it, but my main two titles that I would like to be playing are The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales, and the new / remake, however you like to look at it, of Star Fox. As we sit today, I'm recording on the 24th of June. I am roughly 12 to 13 hours into The Adventures of Elliot. I reckon I'm probably 3 hours-ish, roughly speaking, away from credits if I just want to get to the end sort of as quickly as possible. I'm enjoying the game, probably not hitting the heights that I was hoping when I purchased it, but still enjoying the game nonetheless. Star Fox, I don't actually think I've ever beaten, but I have a lot of fond memories of. I think when I would have been playing it as a kid, you probably just play an hour and then come back, hit new game and go again. So I'm excited to actually check this one out. So those are the two big titles. The other three are Dave the Diver in the Jungle. I'm tempted to do a review of that on the channel. I played Dave the Diver back at the start of the year, so I'm excited to sort of pick this back up for this roughly apparently 10-hour long DLC. Devil May Cry 5, I love what Capcom is doing, and I really want to support a lot of the games that are coming to the system, because I think just about everything that they're making right now really are your classic 8 out of 10 or higher. There's really no misses at the moment, especially with their bigger releases, and Devil May Cry 5 is something that has just evaded me up to this point, so I'm excited to check it out. I think in the short term, it's on the back burner though, so maybe I'll pick it up when I get a bit more free time. And that same goes for Sea of Stars. Amazing sort of JRPG style game released back in 2023. Switch 2 version came earlier this month, but I have yet to start playing it, sitting in the backlog. Probably will fall through the cracks, but we'll just have to wait and see. So as we jump to July, the big title for me that is coming out is Splatoon Raiders. I've always been a big fan of Splatoon. Played a lot of the first one on Wii U back in 2015. Probably played a little bit less when Splatoon 2 came out in 2017 on the Switch. Probably only 10 to 15 hours, that sort of range. And only played Splatoon 3 roughly 12 months ago when the Switch 2 version sort of released and they initially announced Splatoon Raiders. So I'm excited to really delve into this single player mode. I'm looking forward to watching the direct that happens next week just to see a little bit more about what this game entails. But that is something that I will be there day one for. The second game on the list is Resident Evil Requiem. I've purchased this probably back in March. It's been sitting in my backlog, and that is largely due to the fact that the amiibo are scheduled to be released on July 30th. There is a Capcom Presents later this week, and I'm hoping that that's when they'll properly show them off again, and probably alongside some story DLC is my speculation. As it sits right now, though, the amiibo are not able to be pre-ordered anywhere in Australia, so I'm sort of just waiting for that to happen. But once the amiibo are in my hands, that's why I intend to start playing Resident Evil Requiem. So that could fall into August, but hopefully I can get them on release day and finally play this fantastic game. Two smaller titles that I am interested in are Ratatan, which is being made by the Patapon creators. Patapon is a game that has evaded me, but I've always been very interested in. Coming out roughly a week before Splatoon Raiders, so potentially pick that one up and play it. However, there could be a bit of backlog for all the games coming out sort of later end of June. We shall see. The other game I'm interested in is Moss the Forgotten Relic, which is basically a remake of the Moss 1 and Moss 2, which have basically come to VR platforms and been very well received. Whether it translates to just conventional game controller, we'll have to wait and see. But it has always been a title that I've been interested in. We'll just have to see. If the reviews are good, I will be tempted to pick it up because I speculate it's going to be a shorter experience and one that could be on the cheaper side as well. So we'll just have to wait and see there. So as things sit for August right now, there really isn't a big title that is standing out to me. There is the Pokemon Pocopia DLC, and the belief is that somewhere between that mid to late August period, 007 First Light will come to Switch 2, and that's, even though I do have a PS5, that is where I'm waiting to play it, solely because I want it to be in my top 25 Switch 2 list, so I'd rather play it there. I'm willing to accept the compromised experience, so I'm waiting. So I'm expecting that to be my big August game as we sit right now. There is speculation that Pikmin 4 Nintendo Switch 2 edition will sort of be shadow dropped somewhere around the month of August and potentially announced maybe a month before in a Nintendo Today sort of update. But as it sits right now, there really isn't a game that is speaking to me. So August, as you can see here, is more potentially a month about attending to the backlog. And as you can see here, here are 5 titles that I want to check out. Monster Hunter Stories 3, I've played the demo, and that's sort of the first 3 hours of the game. Again, I'm sitting on all of these games, yet to play them. Mouse PI looks like a lot of fun. Mina the Hollower has been incredibly well reviewed. However, a lot of the talk about how hard the game is somewhat scaring me, but it is one that I want to check out. Hyrule Warriors I bought on sale probably 3 or 4 months ago, I want to say, and I'm tempted to check it out just in anticipation of the Ocarina of Time game later in the year. It's just a question of if I do, how many hours am I actually going to put into this style of game? I really can't see myself beating the 25 to 30 hour campaign. I'm worried that the gameplay will get repetitive, but I did enjoy Age of Calamity for the roughly 10 hours that I played it, so maybe I could just have a fun 5 to 10 hours with Age of Imprisonment and then move on to something else. The big one that I'm considering to check out is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have never played a Final Fantasy in my life, and I would like to play this series. I'm sitting on the remake right now, and I think August could be the perfect time to pick it up and play, because maybe towards the end of the year, that is a great time to play Rebirth in anticipation of Revelation, which will likely come out sort of middle of next year is my anticipation. So maybe just space those games out a bit. So that's probably getting my preference, but in terms of how you feel in the moment, I could be swayed to pick up something else. Or if something like a Splatoon Raiders, or as I said, Resident Evil Requiem, if they're really speaking to me, they might end up just flowing through August as well. So as we jump to September, the two big games for me are Fire Emblems Fortune's Weave and Orbitals. Orbitals I will be playing alongside my partner, so it's possible that I'm not playing it every night as it comes out at its release date on September 3rd, but that game is looking like a hell of a lot of fun. I expect that this is going to be sort of a smoky for Game of the Year. It's one of those ones that I really could see reviews coming out, and it's in that high 80s. And so we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out from that perspective. But I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to take roughly, but depending on how long the game actually is, probably the whole month of September to beat, because I really don't anticipate we're going to be sitting down every night and playing another hour or two. It'll be sort of a pick up and play here and there throughout the month. Fire Emblem's Fortune's Weave, I'm very excited for. Three Houses was my game of the year in 2019. And when Fire Emblem Engage came out, I picked it up, but it just didn't speak to me. The story I found to be quite lacking. And so it was something that I didn't finish. I think I got around 10 chapters in, roughly speaking, of the 25 chapter length. Apparently it does pick up, but I just wasn't feeling it and I didn't want to stick around with that game. The other three titles that are definitely interesting me most currently with release dates in September: Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I played half of this game on Switch last year. When September and October, all those games were coming out last year, I ultimately dropped it to play, let's say, I don't know, Legend ZA for sake of argument. And the Switch 2 version is coming out end of September. I'm hoping that there is a free upgrade for owners of the Switch version, because I will also pick up the DLC, and maybe that way I can get a bit more of a rounded experience than rather just picking up my game halfway through. You know, play from halfway through, but then also play the DLC as well. I'm excited to play that. Control Resonant. I have not played the first Control game, but I did play Alan Wake 2, probably in the early parts of, I want to say either 2024 or 2025. Absolutely loved Alan Wake 2. Absolutely stellar game. And so I really want to see what Remedy make next. This is one of the three games on this list that I'll be showing that I'll be dusting off my PS5 to play. It's a question of whether I play it day one or have to wait until later in the year because of the amount of games that potentially could be out around that time. I'll be putting time into Fire Emblem, which is likely to be a very long title. So maybe that falls by the wayside on day one, but it is definitely one that I want to play. Onimusha Way of the Sword. Capcom have been absolutely brilliant in supporting Switch 2. There are rumors of a Capcom presentation later this week where they are apparently, allegedly, we shall see, going to move the game 3 weeks forward to September 4th, which would be the day after Orbitals. And I feel like Onimusha and Orbitals would be a great combo to be playing. So when I'm not playing Orbitals with my partner, I could be playing Onimusha Way of the Sword. So I'm hoping for that, because the September 25 release date is a bit of an awkward time for that game to be coming out. I'm glad there's a physical version on Switch 2. So we'll just have to wait and see when that gets played, but I am preferencing Fire Emblem and Orbitals in the month of September. As we jump to October is when release dates are getting a little bit lighter, and that's in preparation of the big November game that is coming out. So I am interested in Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, because ultimately, it's going to be a pick up and play it here and there. Something that realistically, I'm probably only going to be putting 5 to 10 hours into in the short term, and then you sort of pick it up and play over the years, and it sort of gets that 20, 30 hours, 3, 4 years down the track. So I think that's a really safe day one get. Play a lot of it over the weekend, give you all my thoughts of what I think, and then, as you feel, play some bowling, play some table tennis. Probably not as much thumb wrestling as the the direct a few weeks ago, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm interested in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 coming across. Whether I pick it up or not is another story, but I'm excited to see it coming to Switch. I always like playing the single-player campaigns for Call of Duty, even though I probably pick up a Call of Duty every 3 or 4 years. And so I think the last one I played was like Call of Duty Black Ops 4, I think. And so I'm somewhat ready for another Call of Duty. It's just whether or not I will pick it up day one, or ultimately if it'll fall through the cracks. And Rayman Legends Retold. Rayman Legends is one of the great platforming games of all time. No questions about that. I'm just unsure as to whether I'm desperate to revisit this game. A little bits have been changed. They look to be a lot like newer levels. Rayman Origins is sort of being gifted to you if you pick up the game as well. So it's sort of a 2-in-1 package. It's on the cheaper side, $60 in Australia, $40 US. So I'm tempted with that. But it's looking that October is probably going to be, for me at least, games from September that come out late September is potentially where I play them in October, but also getting back to the backlog month. But we'll just have to wait and see. We are expecting other games, especially from Nintendo, that have yet to be dated. So whether they're sort of that early October or early November, we'll just have to wait and see. As we come to November, there really is only one game that is on everyone's lips, and that is Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm recording this, as I said earlier in the video, the day before pre-orders go live, so the big question is how much is the price going to be? I don't think it's going to be anything untoward. It's going to be probably in line with every other game that you can buy today, and that's because they'll probably make up extra money on deluxe and collector's editions if they're there, and ultimately they might just charge separately for GTA Online. We'll have to wait and see in terms of that, but they're expecting so much volume, and with so many games avoiding this month, right now this is the only game that I'm remotely interested in. There could be a great time, in my opinion, for a really solid, like if you're looking at your Metacritics, your Open Critics, if a game comes out in that sort of mid 80s or higher, maybe even up towards a 90, like an indie game, this is the perfect time where people will be willing to pick up, say, a $20, $30 US title in the week or two before GTA in anticipation of GTA's release. Like, oh, I'll pick that up. I think there is a big chance of the smaller indie games really cleaning up in this month. And so we'll be, sitting back and waiting for release dates there. But these are 5 other games that don't have release dates yet, but really are, to me, mostly, depending on the exact release date, day one pickups for me. So I did discuss it earlier, but 007 First Light, I'm expecting to come out in August on Nintendo Switch 2. That will be a game I'll definitely be picking up, that cross between Hitman and Uncharted. Absolutely looking forward to it, and the reviews have been pretty stellar, so I'm just expecting, ultimately, on the Switch 2, I'll probably be playing in 1080p at 30 frames. And just, look, ultimately, if it runs relatively smoothly, I'll be happy with that. And it's all about good gameplay and just hopefully a really fun story. Forza Horizon 6 currently is sort of the AAA game of the year if you look at reviews. It is yet to come to a platform I have access to, so I'm waiting on that PS5 version. I'd love for it to come to Switch 2. Highly doubt that will happen, but the PS5 version is yet to be dated. I expect it will be announced around that Gamescom August period, probably for October. I think they initially wanted a 6-month exclusivity window before it comes to PlayStation 5. But if that was the case, the game would come out November 19th, same day as GTA 6, and that is just not going to happen. Ocarina of Time is rumored to be out early November. That will be a definite day one purchase. Absolutely love the original, one of the greatest games of all time. And so that will be a day one purchase. Definitely what I'll be playing either alongside or before GTA 6. Personally, I'm more excited for Ocarina of Time than GTA 6. I'm more of a Red Dead guy myself, but I'm absolutely picking up GTA 6. The Duskbloods its marketing hasn't been great, let's be honest, but there is a playtest rumored to be coming in August. Hopefully I can get some time to play that. If I get picked, that would be great. And then I would anticipate that the game is probably going to come out in October, probably early October, in between Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave and Nintendo Switch Sports Resort. That's what I assume, unless it gets bumped to early 2027. We shall wait to see. But I'm not a big From Software guy, but this is one that I'm willing to check out. Excited to see it come to Switch too. And finally, Order of the Sinking Star does have a demo out on Steam, and reception to it is very positive. I was a huge fan of The Witness, was my 2016 game of the year, and so I'm very excited to see what Jonathan Blow has been working on for the last decade. So I'm really waiting on a release date. I would be dreaming for August, because right now for me, August is a very just empty space. Apparently this game is huge, like we're talking hundreds of hours. I'm not going to 100% that sort of a game, but I want to put a lot of time into it, and with so many releases coming from September onwards, I really wish that the game would come out sooner, but I suspect it might end up falling into that October, November, December, potentially even January next year, but we'll just have to wait and see. So there you have it. Those are my plans for the next 6 months in terms of what games are really speaking to me. Let me know what you think. What games are speaking to you most? Is there something that I potentially missed? Let me know in the comments. My name is Dazza. Thank you very much for watching along. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you later.